As an artist, I often have people come up to me and say, I can't draw a straight line. And I say, wonderful, that's the beginning. If one only draws straight lines, one's in trouble if one's an artist. So it's beginning to think a new thought, any kind of creativity. And meditation is the most creative act you can do. What is creativity and why is meditation a part of it? When I sit down to do a drawing, I look at the canvas or I look at whatever paper I'm working on, and I open myself to experiencing something, and I begin to see figures, whatever, and I begin to draw them. And meditation is a very similar kind of experience in which you quiet yourself, turn off all the noise from the outside, turn off all the noise from the inside. Boy, once you turn off the outside noise, you're going to see how many whooshes and thumps you're going to hear. So you're beginning to turn off the sounds on the inside, going upward, and opening yourself. I like what Ken Lee said last week, that prayer and meditation are both important. Prayer is speaking to God. Meditation is letting God speak to you. So in this process of meditation, you try to quiet the self and open up the soul. And there's many people find that they find answers to questions through meditation, but not in meditation. I always think of meditation as a journey. Each day I sit down to meditate. I've been meditating for about 15 years every day. It's a new adventure in which I quiet myself and open up and have a creative experience. It's the way of no thought. It's turning off all the outer experiences and having the ultimate inner experience. It's one that you have to try to go in with as little outside thoughts or this is I wonder what's going to happen. What is meditation? You try to go in with no thought. It reminds me of when I went to England with my girlfriend. This is part of my painting through Europe. And we got there it was about in August, the end of August. And we had some scones in England, and Judy and I both said, I want a crumpet. What's a crumpet? I've heard all my life crumpets. Well, I want a crumpet. They said, oh, crumpets aren't in at this time. They're usually in the fall. We've come this far to England. How can you not have a crumpet? So, well, just wait. So, we waited and we visualized by the time the fall came around, I had visualized this incredible, growing, wonderful tasting. I couldn't even, it was beyond my even imagination what a crumpet was. Well, we were about to leave. It was about 3 days before we were to leave England to come back to America after having quite a wonderful experience throughout Europe. And they said, the crumpets are in. Oh, please give us one immediately, if not sooner. They said, well, you have to wait. There's, preparation. Preparing a crumpet, what could this be? So well, you just sit in the on our nice cushion and wait. Okay, we waited, and it doesn't take a long time, but it does take preparation. So finally, they brought the crumpets out to us. It's round with little holes. Judy and I looked at each other. We said, it's an English muffin. We have those all the time. You mean we came all the way to England to have a crumpet, and it's something that we've been having all along? Well, they made it a little different. They made it over the fire, over direct flame in the fireplace, and they have many more holes, and it absorbs the butter much and it has kind of like a charcoaly flavor. Very, very good. But it was something that we had eaten all along, but because we made it into this big thing, a crumpet, we had made it into something that it wasn't and didn't accept it for what it was. Meditation is a part of your every breath. You've had it within you all along. You're just learning how to begin to see it anew and afresh and to experience it. All the talking in the world is not going to give you the meditative experience. If I would be a true Zen master, I'd sit down and you'd all be seated and I'd get up and I'd leave the room, because that is the true, it really is, you must experience it. No one can hand you meditation. I can give you techniques, I can give you the ideas, but only you sit down and experience it yourself between you and God consciousness. It is a sense of self-awareness. You are making yourself aware of yourself. I find that it's very, very important to keep a meditation diary. You will begin to see patterns in it without judgment. Don't go running around and showing 1,000 people, look at what happened in my meditation. It is a personal experience, and really I find it's best not to share your meditation experience other than with your teacher or your guru, because it is a very personal experience, but a wondrous one. How do you begin to prepare? First of all, you really have to have the right attitude. You approach it with an openness, the same thing with the crumpets. You're going to try to sit down and try to open yourself to the experience. Right attitude. Another story, very similar as the crumpets, is a Zen story where a student comes to the master he had heard so much about, and he says, I want to learn meditation, I want to learn all the art of Zen, and very, very excited on, I've heard you're a great master. And the master very quietly said, sit, let's have tea. And he sits and he wants to get on with this meditation. What is this, master? I'm not thirsty. He says, sit, let's have tea. And they begin to sit. And he brings out, in Japan, it's quite an elaborate experience with tea. If you've ever experienced it, they turn the cup and they wipe the cup before they pour. And it's it might take 45 minutes to pour tea. Well, this person wanted to learn meditation. Now stop all this 45 minutes of tea. I want to know meditation. Quiet, we'll have tea. And the master puts the teacup and starts to pour, and starts to pour, and starts to pour. And suddenly the tea is pouring all over. It's pouring all over the table, onto the floor. And the student says, wait, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Stop pouring. He says, when you can empty your mind, I'll begin to teach you meditation. So when you have too full of a cup, it's very hard to put anything into it. So part of meditation is to empty the cup. The first attitude is emptying the cup and opening yourself. Now, there's 3 important rules when you're beginning meditation. Same place. You find a place that's somewhat quiet. If you have to look at your room and try to feel out what's the best place. There's a lot of, in kitchen, you're going to be cooking and it's bright. It's not the best place for meditation. Look around your home. I find dining rooms are not quite as busy as the rest. Sometimes a bedroom can be good if it's not by the bed. You're trying to begin to form good habits of meditation. So you want to find the right spot for yourself that's somewhat quiet. Make the place a very pleasant place for you. This isn't for anybody else. This is for you. It's a very individual experience. If you are a Christian, you might want a lovely picture of Mary or of Jesus. If you're Jewish, you might want to have a menorah, something that has meaning to you that you find very lovely to look at. Personally, I have a lovely Buddha there, and I like Buddha because there were many Buddhas, not just one, and he was a very wealthy prince, and he gave up all of the earthliness, and he was able to find enlightenment in his time. And there's hope. It always gives me hope that I'll find enlightenment here and now. So you're trying to make it a pleasant place. Find some incense that you find very pleasant. Some incense might be heavy. Some may be too light for you. You find what's very lovely for yourself. I like sandalwood. Rose is very, very good for meditation. Try the different kinds. I find that the Japanese incense is more pleasant for me. Some people like a very heavy incense. Depends upon, past experience with it. Try different kinds. I really do tell you to try each thing that you do before you do it, and find something that's pleasant to you. What else might you have? You might have some kind of affirmation on your table. You might have a poem, a small book. I have the Bhagavad Gita, Kriyananda's small one. It fits lovely, and it's nice to read affirmations before I go into a technique for meditation. You find what's pleasant for you. Try finding the right time for you. Now, this is often difficult. That's one of the most difficult things I find in any of the students, is finding the right time for them. They maybe in the morning you're very, very nervous, and you tend to run around, and you're getting breakfast, and you feel you have to get to work on time. That might not be the good time for you. You find out, maybe it's best for you to get up an hour early and do your meditation. Find what's best for you. It is a personal experience, and you make it what's best for you to experience meditation. Same posture. There's many different postures that can be done. There's, many of you know the lotus, the half lotus. There's just a cross-legged tailor posture. You find what's comfortable for you. If you can do the lotus beautifully, but for only a minute, that's not the best posture to do your meditation in, because you're trying to sustain it. You want to sustain it and to be very, very still. Most important thing in meditation is to sit still for the period that you're using your techniques. So you're trying to find the best posture and the best mudra. Now, mudra is hand movements. This is the Om, which is the most traditional, just forming an O with the thumb and the index finger and putting the hand upward. Now, some like a more Zen type, and it's putting one palm over the other and very lightly touching the tips of the thumbs together in your lap. Some just like to have the hands upward with no gesture. Find what's good for you. The main thing that you're trying to establish is a habit. Some of you, I don't know if you smoke cigarettes, or you get so many bad habits, and it's only over a repetition over a long period of time. Well, now you're trying to establish a good habit by doing it at the same time, the same place, and the same posture. Food intake. If you can possibly not eat before you meditate an hour and a half, 2, it's best. Because what happens, all the juices go into the stomach and start to digest it. Well, you want a quiet time. So if it's possible not to eat for a couple of hours before you meditate, that's best. If you must eat, try to eat something light. A little bit of soup, a salad with fresh greens. but try to keep it very light. Try to, if you can do it when you meditate when you come home from work before you start to cook, that's good. What other ways can you prepare yourself? It's nice if you can take a shower before you go meditate. Wash off all the cares of the day. Leave any of the cares, go down the drain before you go into your meditation. If you can take a whole shower, wash the face, wash the hands. Again, you're trying to form habits, good habits instead of bad ones. If you want to do a little hatha yoga before you meditate, that's fine. Some of the neck rolls, turning the head from side to side, rotating the shoulders forward and back, arms out, rotating the arms. These are all good. You don't want to do a real vigorous hatha yoga routine beforehand because you're trying to quiet yourself, constantly trying to go inward and upward. It's very good to do some spinal twist, even if it's just placing both hands on the side and turning in one direction and in the other. You're trying to keep that spine flexible so that you're ready to go into a good experience. It's good to read an affirmation, read some scripture before you're going in. Nothing heavy, nothing where you're going to go into deep discussion with someone. You want something somewhat, something that's quieting. I find the Gita, parts of the Gita, small parts, find things that are comforting to you and use them. I find Zen Flesh, Zen Bones is excellent because there's small little koans, little stories, which one cannot use logic to solve, but only to experience. Zen is very, very much into experiencing things, not to try to figure it out. I find most of those stories are good to just kind of read before I go into a meditation. Mantra is an excellent way to prepare your mind, to quiet the mind, to go into meditation. I think it's really important to say that I'm really not teaching you meditation. I'm teaching you techniques for you to experience meditation. Someone asked, well, what's the best technique for me? Someone asked last week. It's a good question. The answer is you really have to try them each yourself and find out which ones that you feel comfortable with. What is good for you? What quiets you down? Try many. There's many, many techniques. And throughout the 5 weeks ahead, you'll be getting some of the different techniques. Watching the breath last week, I find, is wonderful. It's a very, very good experience. Try it. Try each technique for yourself to see how you feel with it. It's so wonderful. And at work, people tell you what to do. They're all over. People might tell you what to do. Meditation is a time, an individual experience for yourself, where you're trying to open up yourself and tell, in a sense, your own self what to do. There aren't too many times one can do that. I remember, saying in the beginning, well, why didn't God make this communicating with him easier? I mean, it's because there's a different language. God's not speaking in English or Swahili or Danish. He's speaking in a different language, and it's in a language of symbols, and you have to open yourself to experience them. If it was easy, one really would find it hard to quiet themselves. Oh, I can do it tonight I can run and just say hello and run in, sit down, hi God, and go back out. Well, you're trying to quiet the self and have a very pleasant experience along the way. But it's important that the attitude is one of respect, one of joy, one of openness. Sometimes we receive signs and we can't even accept that the sign is for us. I remember when a dear friend of mine had died, and I want to know that you're happy. And I walk out the next minute, and there's a rainbow spanning the sky. And down at my mother's house, it's in the middle of the city, and there's a cardinal that I have only seen once. And I always look for that cardinal because it's so beautiful against the city sky. It's such a rare moment. And lying at my foot is one feather, a red feather from the cardinal. Now, after that, I thought, oh, gee, I wonder if that was the sign, you know. Come on. Sometimes we don't open ourselves to the experience, or if we open ourselves to the experience, we kind of turn off that sense of this is for us. This is our time. Now, let's try. I'd like to go through the first of the techniques. We're going to do the neti, neti, neti. See, one thing in meditation, you go with the flow. I had planned watching the breath, but we did that last week. We're going to try neti, 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 because it's going to tell us something different. It's neti, neti, neti means I am not this thought, I am not that thought, I am not thought. Now that's what a great thought. That's what we're trying to get rid and open ourselves to no thought. And I think neti, neti, neti is just an excellent technique for that. Now what we're going to do is find a nice comfortable posture. If you're sitting in a chair, it's best either to do cross-legged or to put both feet flat on the floor. It's not good to cross the ankles when you're meditating. You're trying to establish a flow in the body. So we're going to straighten the spine, not stiff. You're not trying to look like a ramrod like this. You're straight, your shoulders are back. You're going to take a deep inhalation down to the stomach. And this is through the nostrils, down to the stomach, and you're going to do a double exhalation to the left. You're getting rid of all the stale air, of all the thoughts of the day. You're feeling a very positive feeling as you're doing this exhalation. Then you're going to turn your face forward, close the eyes, hands in either the lap or on the knees or in an Om Mudra, whatever you find comfortable. And you're going to begin to watch the breath very much like you did last week. Watch the inhalation through the nostril all the way down to the stomach. The stomach should puff out. You're not breathing from the chest. You're not getting enough air when you're breathing from the chest. You're breathing all the way down to the base of the stomach. Fill up that stomach. Then there's a pause, and then breathe out. As you're breathing, along will come a thought. Should I wear the red dress tomorrow? Mentally think, neti, neti, neti. Inside, not outside, mentally. Okay, you'll find the thoughts begin to stop for just a few seconds, and along will come another thought. Did I walk the dog today? Okay. Mentally think, neti, neti, neti. There'll be a ceasing of thought for a moment. And then as you begin to do this for a while, the thoughts will come a little bit further apart, and there'll be a very quiet moment. Let's try it together now. and gently come out of the technique. Never rush out of a meditation technique. Begin to move the head, gently, the wrist, and stretch. And gently begin to open the eyes. How long should you meditate? I always have, every time I've taught a class, I always have someone ask how long. As long as it feels good. If you're going to sit in agony and just jump around, you're not going to have much of a meditative experience. So Shelley said, and Kriyananda, I always, if it's 2 seconds, you're sitting and feel wonderful in it, then do it 2 seconds. And slowly you'll find you'll be able to build up 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 20. You find it's a very personal experience. Find out what's good for you. I find it very, very important to meditate every day. Even when I'm not feeling real well, I'll sit and I'll do 3 breaths. You know, first I'm going to meditate now, sit and do 3 breaths and say I completed my meditation. It's the consistency and habit formingness is very, very important. I know in the beginning, 20 years ago when I began to meditate, you know, I'd do it one day and then maybe a week later I'd try again, and it's much harder. You're being much harder on yourself if you do that. I find it's much better to be consistent. Even if it's some days it might only be a few breaths, it's very, very important. But what are you supposed to feel if you've forgotten your meditation? Oh, ach du lieber, I forgot my meditation today. Don't feel guilty. Just remind yourself to do it tomorrow and do it. If there should be no guilt associated with meditation. It's a wonderful, uplifting, quiet moment. And it's very, very important not to feel guilty that you haven't done it yesterday. Just think for this moment, at this time, that you should do it now. Kind of interesting, today I was watching Warner Sanders, and he had a dream expert on, and he had a dream expert and a psychiatrist. And they were asking in the audience questions. And one of the people in the audience, who happened to be from India, asked if dreams couldn't be expressing the soul. The psychiatrist said, "Oh, no, no way." I thought that's kind of how people face dreams, face meditation. They tend, "Oh, no, that can't be." Keep yourself open. It's very, very important to quiet yourself, turn inward, go upward. It's a breath away. Meditation is just a breath away. And have fun while you're doing it. Okay, I have another, I believe very much in experience, so we're going to be doing another meditation technique. This one is a breathing technique called alternate breath. And I remember teaching one class this, and somebody said, "Gee, I've been to 4 teachers, and they each taught that different." I said, "How wonderful. You have 4 different techniques to try." Each one is different, and you'll experience it differently. I'm giving you one, but there may be many others that you learn from other teachers. And try them all. Find which one is good for you. The alternate breathing that I'm going to teach today is you're going to close off. You're going to start with your left nostril. You're going to inhale whatever is comfortable for you. For some it may be 2 counts. For some it may be 3, 4, 5. It should be a very natural experience. You're going to inhalation for, say, 3 counts. You're going to close off with your index and middle finger after you inhale, 1, 2, 3. You're going to hold. Now both of your nostrils are closed off. You're going to hold for 1, 2, 3. You're going to open the right nostril and exhale, 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to inhale through the right nostril, 1, 2, 3, or whatever count you have. But it should be the same count inhalation, same count hold, same count exhalation. Find out which is the best count for you. If it's 3, 4, let's try this together. Close the eyes, do an exhalation to the left, face forward, inhale, hold, exhale through the right, inhale through the right, hold, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, hold, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Now continue at your own pace. And after the next complete round, drop your hands to your lap and continue to just watch your breath. And gently come out of the technique. Are there any questions at this time about meditation or technique or? No? Okay. Yes?
When you meditate in order to get an answer for something that you're looking for, do you have any special procedure or you just make the affirmation?
Make the affirmation. I try not, when I meditate, I try not to think about even a problem. You're trying to open yourself without actually, forming a question, asking. You might, when you're, before you meditate, you might kind of try to think and concentrate on answer to a question. But during the meditation, it should be free. The meditation should be a time of openness. No questions, no. Well, you might open yourself to understanding a question. I find before I go to sleep at night, often I'll ask, for an answer before I go to bed, and I'll get sometimes in a dream. But the meditation will help you open your mind to solutions. What happens, we just get so tight within ourselves that we close off answers. The answers are all available to you. They're all there, and they're all inside yourself if you just open yourself. And we just get so tight, we draw in. And what you're trying to do in meditation is open yourself and draw out. Let your body relax. You're trying to open the inner flow, and often answers will come. It's a very different thing to go into meditation with a question that you want answered than to open yourself and say, Lord, I'm here. Here I am. And often you'll find that an answer will come. Sometimes I'll find the next day, that's the answer. And it's just really kind of amazing, but you should not go with any thought in meditation. Just affirming, an affirmation. Find a poem or something that you find satisfying inside yourself. I find that everybody has solutions to problems if you only open yourself. All religions have had some form of mysticism. What is mysticism? Mysticism is that being able to turn in and talk to God, or open to God and understand His talk in His language, not yours. It's not being so presumptuous to say, here's my language, you're going to go to me. It's quieting the self from going inside and opening the self. I saw another question.
When you said before you go to sleep, I wonder about that in the morning before you awaken, or while you're kind of awakening. What is the effect of meditating or?
No, I didn't say meditation before you go to sleep. I said often I ask a question before I go to sleep and open this. You can't do it emotionally. You can't go in and say, oh, what can I do about this? You have to quiet yourself before you go to sleep and ask a question. Try to look at it from a fresh point of view. And often I'll find answers to my question. Meditation, some people find it very bad before you go to sleep. You have to find what is best for you. So, some people may like meditation before they go to sleep. Some may when they wake up. You find what's good for you. Some people find it makes them too active. Some people makes them quieter. But it's something that you experience for yourself. Yes?
Sometimes when I meditate in the early process, I'll be relatively aware. I'm trying to use my concentrate on my breath. And after a while, I'll start to be very relaxed, and I'll start to go with my thoughts, and that will flow. And after a while, I even lose rhythm, whereas my breath or something I find it very hard. But I still very much enjoy it. I don't think that's meditation, though. I don't. Could you comment on the difference between that?
meditation is without effort. You cannot will it to happen. It just suddenly you'll feel this quietness where it seems like your breath has stopped. You probably were in meditation at that time. And then all of a sudden you'll kind of become aware again. And it's not something, I like to think of Vritti Nirodha, kind of a dumping comes, or just like a dump truck. You have all these thoughts of the day or something, and you're going inward, and all of a sudden the truck will empty. Your mind will be quiet and just in a very beautiful state. And that's when meditation has happened. But that's nothing that anyone can give you. It can only give you techniques. And in the beginning, you may find you meditate for only a second. I mean, then all of a sudden the noise starts coming back in and your awareness starts coming back in. So it changes, and certain days you're going to feel more apprehensive or problems happening. You'll feel a little bit more uptight. Sometimes you might find that's harder. It just depends upon, but it's important to try to sit a few moments each day. And the consistency is really important. Yes?
You mentioned that crossing your ankles. When you sit, it's important to have your feet on the floor.
If you're sitting in a chair, you should have your feet on the floor. You shouldn't be sitting back against the chair. You're trying to keep the spine, the channel open. Your spine is the channel, and you're trying to keep it erect but without tension. If you're going to sit with your shoulders back, that's not good. You should feel very, very relaxed, but at attention without tension. So you're sitting upward, both feet on the ground. When you cross the feet, it's going to cause some tension on the area where you cross it. So you're trying to be as relaxed as possible. I've taught people who are bedridden too. Even I find that people, even lying in bed, can do some breathing. They may not be able to sit. If they can sit up in bed, I have them sit up in bed and cross their leg, cross their. If not, just sitting up. You have to find what's best for you, but I find most people can meditate in some form. Let's do one more meditation. It's called the Unicorn's Journey. Now this will be a guided meditation. Most meditations you can produce yourself, like the watching the breath or the neti, or the alternate breathing. But sometimes it's nice to have a guided meditation where someone is directing your mind, and then finding that peacefulness, turning inward afterwards. Find a nice comfortable spot. Do a double exhalation to the left. Face forward. And begin to watch the breath. Watch it entering your nostrils as a blue glowing light, coming down to the stomach, filling the stomach with light. And gently begin to exit through the nostril, filling the forehead with blue light. I want you to see a little wee white unicorn at the very base of your spine. See your spine as a mountain with a spiral path curling upward, ever upward. The unicorn starts his journey. In the beginning, he starts very quickly, running up the spiral road, running so fast he misses along the way the trees and the lush vegetation. Running so fast he passes the water, not stopping for a drop in his haste to complete his journey. Upward, ever upward, he spirals around the long, tall mountain. The sun is out now, kind of making him a little bit weary, but he still has much strength within his withers. And a deep urge within his bosom to complete his mission. Now, as he sees the water along the way, he stops to drink deeply of the water, fortifying himself, quenching the thirst, but not quite. He continues along the journey. The sun is very hot, so he sees a little grotto where lush trees and flowers of lovely fragrance. And there he curls beneath a large tree and falls asleep for just a little while to gain sustenance, to help him on his journey. He awakes, the sun is beginning to set. It's becoming very dark. There's a velvet, midnight blue sky over his head with brilliant stars ever lighting the path. And the unicorn walks. He stopped running and he walks. Not too slow, not too fast. Along the way, he meets many little friends. A squirrel here, a rabbit there. And they wish him well along the journey. Upward, ever upward. The sun is beginning to rise. He's gotten through the darkness, the lonely moments. And there he finds his secret garden, hidden behind a huge oak tree. He opens the golden door and enters. Within the garden is a lovely pond with this one perfect white lotus which begins to open as he approaches. It opens to reveal the perfect dewdrop which he sups of, and he's content. He lies in the sun as he watched the sun finally spread its warmth and light and knowledge and wisdom over the land, and he knows he's home. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.
Nanda